we have conditional sentence or sentences. Conditional sentences. So we discussed about conditional sentences, or the sentences that express a condition, that is express what? A term, that express a circumstance. So one thing happens because of what? Another thing. If you change the condition, what happens? The result changes. What are the types of conditional sentences? Can you tell me? First one we have type 1, next one we have type 2, next one we have type 3, and after that we have what? Type 0, and the last one we have what? Type mixed, or we can say type mixed or mixed time. You mix the times, past, present, present, and past. So the first one is type 1. What does type 1 show? Let's review. Yeah, it talks about possibility or probability. What is if clause in type 1? Simple present tense. What is main clause in type 1? Simple future tense. Now, we said that there are some variations that we have for if clause. If clause can also be what tense? So it can be present continuous tense. I say if you're listening to me, you will understand the lesson. And if clause can also be what tense? Present perfect tense. Now, we have some other changes in main clause. So main clause instead of will can also be what? Can, may, might, or can be should, or can be, had better, or it can be just an imperative. I said if you want to learn English, watch a lot of movies. If you want to learn something, read a lot of books. So what is this? Condition type 1. These are the variations that we have for type 1. Type 2. What does type 2 show? Yeah, it talks about imagination. It talks about the situation that is what? That is not true in what? In the present. What is if clause in type 1? If clause is simple past. What about main clause? Main clause is would, could, might plus a verb. Or we can also call this what? Conditional tense. Conditional tense. What conditional tense? Simple conditional tense. And here we also said we can change if clause. What are the variations that we have for if clause? If clause can also be what? Past continuous tense. But it can also be past perfect. For past perfect we have conditional type 3, yes? And if clause and main clause. Main clause can be what? Conditional continuous tense. For example, I say if you studied hard, you would be taking the test now. You did not study hard and you cannot take the test now. Understood? Now, or you say if you studied the grammar, you would be answering my questions right now. You cannot answer my questions. Why? Because you didn't study. The next one, we have condition type 3. What is if clause in type 3? Past perfect. What about main clause in type 3? Yeah, would plus have plus third form of the verb. Have plus third form of the verb. What does it show? It talks about, condition type 3 talks about past and real situation. Now, type 0. What about type 0? What does it talk about? Very nice. Type 0 talks about a fact, a situation that is always true. And if clause is simple, present tense. Main clause is simple, present tense. So, for example, if you don't breathe for 5 minutes, what happens? You don't. You don't say I will die. Huh? Today I am stronger, and then I don't die today. Huh? Tomorrow I'll die. Today we will discuss about conditional type mixed. Type mixed, or we can also say mixed time. Here you mix the times. Now we have conditional type third, okay, and second mixed. Conditional type third and second mixed, and also we have conditional type second and third mixed. You mixed like this. Now, in this sentence, actually, if I want to talk about this type, here, if you want to mix it, here you mix past plus what? Present. Action happened in the past. The result is what? Now, present. You mix past and present. Here, if clause in this one, if clause is from type what? If clause is from type 3. What is if clause in type 3? If clause in type 3 is what? Past perfect. And main clause is from type 2. Look, main clause is from this type. What is main clause in type 2? Main clause is would, or could, or we also said might plus first form of the verb. This is type mixed. For example, look, you say I didn't eat anything. Look, I didn't eat anything. I didn't eat anything. For example, I am hungry now. I am hungry what? Now. Now here in this sentence, look, what is the action? Action of eating didn't happen in the past. So the first sentence is what? Past. And the second sentence, the result is what? Now, or we can say what? Present. How can I mix? If I want to mix, I will actually imagine the situation in a different way. Look, you did not eat anything. What do you feel now? What's the result of not eating? You feel hungry now. So what should I say here in this sentence? I say if clause. What is if clause? If clause is past perfect. Now we say something different. We don't say the same thing. So if I had eaten, anything, no, we say what? Something. You know the difference. Yes? Now I here this one could be negative. I wouldn't be hungry. I wouldn't be hungry now. Now this is type mixed. I said when something happened in the past, the result is what? Now. I want to mix it. It's called mixed time. It mixes the time. So this is from type 3 and this is from what? Type 2. And this is called conditional type mixed. For example, we can say she spent all her money. She spent all her money. She doesn't have any money now. She doesn't have any money now. Here, look at the board, guys. Listen carefully. She spent all her money. What's the result? She doesn't have any money now. How can I mix it? If I want to mix this type, I should say if. Tell me, guys. If she had or hadn't. If she hadn't spent, for example, all her money. What is the result? She would or she wouldn't. She would have some money. She would have some money what? Now. Now here, listen. If she hadn't spent is type 3 and the result is what? She would have some money now. Type 2. So it's called type mix. How can you mix it? When something happened in the past, the result is what? Now. For example, I can say you didn't. For example, you didn't study English. You, for example, can't get a scholarship. How can I mix this type? Look, you did not study English. You can't get a scholarship now. So what should I say? If, come on, if you had, tell me, if you had studied English, how can I say? You would, for example, you could or you would get, for example, or you could get a scholarship. You could is also right, okay? Instead of would, we can also say what? Good. You could get a scholarship. You might get a scholarship. Is it difficult? All right, the next one we can say he was absent. He was absent. He doesn't know the lesson. He doesn't know the grammar. Look, he doesn't know the grammar. Now, how can I mix it? He was absent. Action happened in the past. What's the result? If you are absent, it means we studied something and you don't know. How can I mix it? He was absent if, how should I say? If he hadn't been what? Absent. If he hadn't been absent, what do we say? He would know the grammar. He would know the grammar. So what do we call this? Conditional type mixed. Which type mixed? Type third and second. Let me repeat again. In type third and second mixed, you mix past and present. It means action happened, a situation happened in the past. The result is now. You did not do any homework. I will I take you or expel you from the class. You say, if I had done my homework, I wouldn't, be expelled from the class. You say like that. The next one here, if clause is from past perfect, if clause is from type 3, what is if clause in type 3? Past perfect. Main clause is from type 2. What is main clause in type 2? With plus a verb, could plus a verb, or might plus a verb. And here I said action happened, situation happened in the past or action. The result is what? No. You say I studied very hard in the past. I speak English very well now. I studied very hard. Yes, I studied very hard in the past. I speak English well. What do you say? If I hadn't studied very hard, I wouldn't speak English very well. You studied. Look, you studied the. You studied addition to remark. You can give examples for addition to remarks. How can I say? If we hadn't studied addition to remark, we wouldn't give examples for them. Is it difficult? You say I ate a lot. I feel sick now. How do you say? I ate a lot. I feel sick now. You say, if I hadn't eaten a lot, I wouldn't feel sick. We can say he broke the glass. We punish him now. He broke the glass. We punish him now. How can I say now? If he hadn't broken the glass, we wouldn't punish him now. He forgot his notebook. We don't give him, he forgot his notebook, we don't give him his score. If he hadn't forgotten his notebook, we would give him what? His score. Did you understand? Okay, good. Now let's go and talk about type second and third mixed. Done? Okay. So let's go to the next type. I will write it here. In type second and third. If clause, again we have if clause and main clause. What is if clause? If clause is from type 2. What is if clause in type 2? Simple past. And main clause, look, main clause is from type 3. What is main clause in type 3? Main clause is, if you remember, would plus have plus past participle. So I said you can write the rest of them too. You can write could, or you can write what? Might. Now in this part you mix present plus what? Past. It means here in this action, the action it's something that happens usually, and the result is simple past. How? Let's say, look, if I write the examples here, she is not a good student. She's not a good student. What's the result? She's not a good student. She didn't bring her, for example, what? Her workbook. Now, how can I say now? This is something that it happens always. Everybody knows that she is not a good student. It's a fact. And this is the result of something that happened in the past. No? She did not bring her homework. You say, why do you think she's not a good student? You say, you know what? She did not bring her homework. And what should I say here? I say if. Situation is different. How should I say now? If she, we can say were. If she were a good student. If clause is from what? If clause is from type 2. If she were a good student, what is the result? She would have brought her what? Workbook. If clause is from type 2, main clause is from type 3, and you mix it. Understood? Or you say, for example, I say you don't know, or you can say I don't know. For example, I don't know how to fix the car. I didn't fix it. I didn't fix it. How can I mix it? I don't know how to fix a car. It's something that it's a fact about me. Yes, because I don't know how to fix a car. What's the result? I didn't fix it. We can say if. Tell me, if I know or knew. If I knew how to fix a car. What is the result? I would have what? Fixed it. I would have fixed it. Or the next one, look, I am not you, so I didn't tell him. I am not you, so I didn't tell him. Look, this is the action. I'm not you. Always, I'm not you. What's the result? I didn't tell him. Now, how should I say now? If I were you, I would have told him. Is it difficult? Or the next one, look, he is not a good player. Look, he is not a good player. It's a fact. What's the result that he didn't do? He lost, for example, the match. He lost the match. He is not a good player. He lost the match. Now, this is present. Look, it's a fact about him. And what is the result? He lost the match. How can I fix it? If he were, if he were a good player, now the next one, he wouldn't, very nice, he wouldn't have lost the match. If he wouldn't have lost the match. Did you understand? So let me say again, in type second and third mixed, if clause is from type 2, main clause is from type 3. What is if clause in type 2? If clause is simple past, main clause is from type 3 with plus, half plus, start from, after verb. Now what does it do? It mixes present with past. We can say, look, he is not a teacher. He didn't teach you. Yeah, he is not a teacher. He didn't teach you. So he didn't teach you. We say, if he were a teacher, he would teach you. But he's not a teacher. You say, I am, for example, I'm not a doctor. I didn't help him. How do you say now? I'm not a doctor, I didn't help him. You say, if I were a doctor, I would have helped him. I'm not a doctor. If I were a doctor, I would have what? Helped him. Understood? Or you say, I don't speak English. I didn't get the job. How do you say now? I don't speak English, I didn't get the job. What is the result? If I spoke English, I would have gotten the job. Or next one, you don't know English, you did not get the visa. How do you say? Or the scholarship. If I knew, or if I spoke or studied English, I would have gotten the scholarship. I would have gotten the job. Is it difficult? Okay. We say, the weather is warm today, I didn't bring my coat. How do you say? The weather is warm today, I didn't bring my coat. How can you mix it? If the weather weren't warm today, I would have brought my coat. Understood? Okay, now, if you have any questions, you can ask me.